We've made it to Friday. I'm starting to feel the effects of the Guinness. I've just suggested that there. But we're on to the Triumph. Typically, as the Cheltenham Festival goes on, you don't need me to say this, but Tuesday's immense, right? Wednesday's good. The Thursday and the Friday are still decent, but sometimes they temper, like they sort of get a little bit, I don't know, not as exciting. This year's Friday looks as good a Friday as I've seen for a very long time. Triumph Market is nice and strong is what I would say. It's quite punchy, right? Burdett Road at the head of the market. There are very obvious statements you could make to be positive about him. I think there are also very positive, very easy statements you could make to be negative about him, but we'll obviously touch on that. Sergino, there's a little bit of form franking there with a Ludlow winner today. I think saying that out loud tells you how much form franking that is. It's a winner at Ludlow. So take that with a pinch of salt. Stormheart for Willie Mullins, Gigginstown as well, would be, I would say, the one that if you watched a race and went, fuck me, that's a Triumph Hurdle horse, is probably the one that's done a performance of that. Bunting was good, but without looking like he's going to go and win a Triumph. Cargisi's looked actually quite good, despite being a little bit awkward. She'll get a mare's allowance in here, so she looks interesting. Nürburgring's been winning races, but with getting the penalty or the weight allowance with Carla Conti, so it's a bit weird. Mighty Bandit fluffed these lines in a run that was clearly, as far as I'm concerned, way too bad to be true for him. So I still think it's quite an open Triumph. It'd be another one where I suspect a few people might have got stuck in early. For what it's worth, the way I would rank them and I would stand them at the moment, I'm very weirdly biased towards Burdett Road for that run at Cheltenham, purely for the fact that when the French horse came over, the ground went really bad, and I feel like, and again, I could be making this up, I feel like they rode him like a horse that was, well, fuck it, we're at Cheltenham now. Let's just have a run round. Let's not do anything silly and just get some course experience, but they didn't have any expectations. And he cantered through it and he won like a very, very good horse. As opposed to Harry Cobden went there with the tactics of thinking, I'm going to ride this like a really cool, hard ride. So it downplays Harry Cobden's ride. I don't think it was intentional what they did, but the outcome was the same, right? It was a very impressive performance as far as I'm concerned. Considering how keen and free was the race before, that then reverts back to it being a little bit of a worry. They're thinking about running him on trials day. I think there's a chance he could clash against Sergino, but I think Sergino will go somewhere else. I think they'll avoid each other for now. But I do think Burdett Road deserves to be the prize that he is. However, I think I see it as it's quite as likely that he could go off at, I don't know, he could flop and he could be a 12-1 poke, or he could absolutely smash up again and be like a 3 or 4-1 poke. So I don't think there's any juice in him, but I think he's definitely got a chance. Sergino, I'm not sold on yet, but Stormheart, I would say of all of them, I haven't had any money on, would be the one that I've looked at so far and think, Christ, that looks like a weapon. But it is a wide open race, Paul. Is there any ones you got stuck into early? There's normally quite a bit of rumours going out there. I think, was it Sergino and Salvatore Mundi run against each other in France? That looked like the top line form coming into this season.
Yeah, and that was the only bet I had early doors. But what I will say is that the French national juvenile form, it just isn't all that this season. So I just think they're the best of a pretty ordinary bunch of French juvenile hurdlers.
Okay.
So I'm not excited about any of that form line at all, really. You've mentioned the ones that I am. Burdett Road, I don't agree with your assessment. I think they rode him because they know he's an aeroplane. I really do genuinely think you don't keep a horse that far back unless you know you've got a serious horse underneath you. Because it contradicts the whole thing about him being keen first time.
Agreed.
If you're keen first time, you can't go too slow, can you? Your option is you're stuffing behind horses. Hopefully, the horse learns because he can't run up the backside of another horse, or you take it on from the front and you either shoot your bolt or you keep going. And they didn't do either of those things. So I think they just knew they've got an aeroplane. His flat rating backs it up. He'd be, I don't know whether he would be, but I suspect if he's not the highest rated flat horse coming into a Triumph, he's close to, I would think. He jumps hurdles well enough. He's quick enough over his hurdles. I can't see Paul Nicholls putting anything in the race because he knows. If we were covering, I don't know, the Fred Winter or the Beatles, whatever it's called these days, I think we're talking about some Paul Nicholls horses simply because he ain't coming here. So Harry Cobden will ride here again. Whether he plays, the full cool hand loop thing, just topical thing there with the dual darts. Whether he plays it so cool this time, I don't know. I don't think he can afford to sit that far off the pace when he gets to the Triumph Hurdle. But I thought he was seriously good. But so was Stormheart, and I think the race is between the two of them. Stormheart, different form line again. National Hunt bred, hasn't come from France. Different form line altogether. I think I probably just edged Burdick Road with the experience. I think that would probably be the way I'd split them. But the simple thing for me, I'd make books, so I've backed them both anyway, as you probably gathered. I agree with you in terms of sort of ignoring the Mighty Bandit form last time. But, given we've seen Burdick Road, and now we've seen Stormheart, I'm thinking, it's Gordon Elliott. What would I do with that now? I've had one good win. I've now run. Now he's not run quite so well. What would I do next time?
Well, exactly. And that's
I know what I'd do next time. I'd have him in the Fred Winter, and I'll be winning the Fred Winter. And I can't believe for 1 second, at the very least, it hasn't crossed his mind. Whether he does it or not, I don't know. But I wouldn't be backing Mighty Bandit for this now. I think there are two serious horses in the context of any Triumph Hurdle, actually. And albeit I think Mighty Bandit is far more than useful. If they can look after his mark, he could go sluice up in the Fred Winter. So I'm writing off the French juvenile form. I'll probably look stupid in a couple of months' time, but for doing it. But based on the records that I keep, it's not brilliant. And I think we've got two very much above average horses there, so I'm quite happy to do so.
Nice, I like it, and it's good as well because for the context of people that have watched multiple of these videos, because I would have chopped up into bits there. You do French form. That doesn't mean that you just love everything that's French. There are people that have like the bias towards it. So again, in the context of all of it, it's good, it's useful. It's mad, isn't it? The Mighty Bandit thing's interesting because I think me and Jamie might have talked about this actually after the race had happened. If it wasn't with, I feel like it was with you, Jamie, but or maybe it was with someone else. Anyway, but like you'd hope there was almost like a major problem with him, like something significant enough that he might have to miss like a Dublin Race Festival, the Spring Juvenile, and like you almost hope that there was enough of a reason that you wouldn't see him for a little while, but then they could get him out sooner and he runs poor again in the Dublin Racing Festival to then go for a Fred Winter. I think he's one of those, like down the line, I still think he'll be a very nice horse, whether it's Champion Hurdles down the line or like chasing. I know that's a brave thing to say, but I do think you need to forget him for a Triumph now. I'm glad that you're keen on Burdick Road as well, because like I said, I get romantic with the fact they sat him out because there's a part of me that doesn't want to believe that everyone knew he was such an absolute aeroplane. And then because he wasn't weak in the market, but he wasn't particularly strong either. But it's good,
not
right, Jamie?
But it's not from the stable, is he Jack Jones? Was it Jack Jones?
James Owen?
James Owen, sorry.
James
So
Owen,
he's not
yeah.
big name, is he? So
no, exactly. It'll be like O'Connor all over again, wouldn't it? Although O'Connor was obviously with probably a more renowned trainer, but I feel like it could be that sort of esque again in a Triumph. Like if Harry Cobden wants to just click the button, he might just be able to absolutely destroy this field. And while it might not be the best field in the world, it could be a very visually impressive performance. Jamie, how do you see things with it? Because typically it's easy. We wait, don't we, normally for Christmas? We see what happens in that December maiden. We then see what happens in the Dublin Racing Festival. So it's arguably a little bit early, but based on what we have seen and how the market's formed at the moment, there seems to be some juice in the price of most of them. It's 11-2 the field. Where would your money be going? Who have you got your eye on, or who may you have already bet?
I've only had one bet in the race, Dave, and it's we haven't seen him yet, obviously, and it's Masborough.
Yeah.
Willie Mullins. I suppose the only thing it's worrying about now, I heard today that Monday won't run this year, and that Masborough will come out soon, or Masborough will go straight to the grade one of the DRF. Now the problem with Willie Mullins putting him straight to the DRF, that he's saving him for the following year anyway. So no, he'll run around in grade one.
Elate Thompson did it with him. They get him beat.
He'd probably do that. Do you know what I mean? Because he keeps saying that he looks like more of a 5-6-year-old than a 4-year-old. And that means he's well developed, but he's probably behind. So We'll see.
The chances are he'll run it, but that Fairy House Juvenile, let him finish second or third, and
Maybe. Yeah, the one Blood Destiny one. Yeah.
That was the one when Goshen got beat. What was the girl that won? Burning Victory.
Burning Victory.
Is that the one that she won?
Yeah. So it's either that'll probably go to the grade 1 and just run around for the rest of the year and save his novice status for next year. Burdett Road, obviously, Dave, I was there. He impressed me. I suppose it's a flat horse, and it's the old cliche about there's 2 hurdles in the last seven furlongs, which is going to suit him down to the ground.
Well, yeah, Vauban just managed to just motor over him like a lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly, lawnmower. Yeah. I don't know about Burdett Road. I don't know. I see what Paul's saying, and they think he could be a machine. Obviously, he's experienced enough from his flat handicap campaign.
But he should be 2 or 3 to 1 if all of that was actually true. And I guess you could argue the yard and all that sort of stuff, couldn't you? But
I think that's the thing for me. He's not from Willie. He's not.
That's
from
the thing.
Nick Anderson. He's not from Gordon Elliott.
Obviously, if he's Elliott, Mullins, Nichols, Henderson, he's 2 to 1, 5 to 2 top price.
Exactly.
I agree there, but I don't know. Like, was he getting behind? I don't know. It was just a crap race, I thought. And I was even there, and I was in the stand. I was like, "What's going on here? He's miles behind." Did he just stop in front of him, or was he just fell up the straight? I don't know. I'd have to see him again.
The time suggests that he's a bit of an aeroplane.
Yeah, a bit of an aeroplane. But I love this, Paul, though, during the week that they're contemplating coming over for the Dublin Racing Festival.
No, but I will just on that for my opinion of it. How often is it on Twitter? We'll all say there's loads of competitive racing on, and why don't they send him over? Like when they sent over Labago while when it was a road, all that sort of stuff.
It doesn't matter. They're not going to ruin his chance.
No, I know, but as soon as a horse gets the question of being sent over, not the same people, but the next argument comes up. Why would you send it over to Ireland? You can't fucking win.
I know, yeah. But there's, of course, everyone's contradicting themselves. We'd love to see him over, but then they'll say,
I'd love to see it too.
If he gets stuffed at Leopardstown, what they're going to do then?
Oh, well, yeah, then he's fucked.
Sergino, my problem with Sergino, obviously he has to iron out his jumping because he's jumping like he's jumping off tie fences, and that's why he jumped around Kente. Now, obviously, we saw the horse today, Ludlow won by 17 lengths, and Sergino beaten by 14. I think Sergino's a weapon.
He could be.
I really, really do, because the way he quickened, I know it's a flat track, the Kente. But when he jumped the second lap, and then, oh my God, and then the turn of foot, I think he absolutely crap all over Burdett Road with that turn of foot. If he irons out his jumping. And it's the old cliche about, as I said and repeating, was the 2 hurdles in the last 7 furlongs. And I think that's going to suit him even better. It's the kick. It's like the same kick as Storm Hart had the last time. Well, he only won a mile and 4 race in the flat in France. Yeah. But he's National Hunt bred. The kick he had there, come around the corner at Punchestown and jumped the last and the way he went was seriously impressive. For me at the moment, it's Sergino and Storm Hart. Yeah. I just have him in front of everybody, and I'm not going on times looking at RPRs and all that. I'm just looking at my naked eye for the time. I kind of always do because it's obviously it's juveniles and you never know. You know what I mean? Bunting to me. Bunting looks like to me now. He only won at Limerick, and there's no disrespect to Limerick. Did you ever see a Triumph Hurdle running in Limerick? And I know it's only about an hour, 45 minutes up the road for me. Not for me. Bunting screams Fred Winter to me.
Get him beat in the Dublin Racing Festival, surely, then get him in the Fred Winter, right?
Yeah. And Tony Bloom will love an old-fashioned gamble on him. Carrigeese, for me, the race at Leopardstown at Christmas, technically with the penalty, Nürburgring comes out the best horse in the race.
Yeah,
and if that was off level weight, Nürburgring would win by 4 or 5 lengths.
But Cargiesi was pulling that like for most of it. Did everything wrong, didn't it?
I know. I back Cargiesi.
I know. Just to rub it in.
Just to rub it in. Thanks, Dave.
That's
forever the pal you are.
It screams of the placed horse of a Triumph, the obvious horse that will be placed in a Triumph car.
I wouldn't back Cargiesi for the Triumph Hurdle if you give me €1,000. No
What I-
chance.
what I won't do.
Even though how keen she was, I know she's going to settle better, obviously, at the DRF race, but I still won't back her. I just didn't like her.
I just
didn't
don't
like
think
her at all.
that Christmas Juvenile was very good, if I'm honest. I think
Yeah,
Nürburgring
yeah.
is probably a Fred Winter horse, and just
Yeah,
waiting
probably a
for
Fred
him.
Winter. He's probably Nürburgring is a horse. Paul, sorry, that'll probably keep the weight down for another Joseph horse.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
in the
that's
in the
probably
Fred
right.
Winter, it screams of that.
Yeah.
The one that won at Chepstow, nah, no chance. Celebrator Monday, obviously we have to see him. Calaconti, probably not good enough. What I say about Mighty Bandit wasn't his true running. I agree, but you have to watch the race. Obviously, that is the huge pointer to the Fred Winter, the one that Jesse Matty was stuffed in last year. Biker was third in the race, and they finished close up together in the Fred Winter. It's the one that race at Nace. I think is it a Grade 3 or is it just it's always the pointer to the Fred Winter in Ireland.
They've moved the
Have
race.
they moved it?
Not the same place.
It's not Nace anymore. Oh shit!
No, it's a nice, but it's not the same place in the calendar, I don't think.
No, it's third. I think it's like the end of January now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Always watch that. The only other horse to mention, there was a huge word around for obviously because thing was on champ.ie, Patrick Mullins, and now this horse screams as a Fred Winter horse to me, is Ethical Diamond, because it was absolutely stuffed at Everstone, and it was 6-5 favourite, and Patrick Mullins tipped up that it was actually going to bolt in. And it just got beaten. I didn't see the race now, but a friend of mine texted me and said this Intelletto for Joseph O'Brien is a good horse. Now I must watch it back.
Ethical Diamond isn't their Fred Winter horse. Their Fred Winter horse is Batman Girac.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. 100%.
Totally agree with you.
Batman Girac is.
Paul, will you be quiet? Stop giving it away.
Right. Well,
you've already
let's.
Of
course, Batman Girac with the Fred Winter. Jesus, I think no. Paul, you're dead right. I should just set up my own channel. Irish Jamie, and English Paul. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right,
I think we'll get traction to that, Paul. Do you think?
We'll use this
anyway,
as the segue, right? We are going to talk about the handicaps as well in a moment, so we'll come on to them. But last words from you, Jamie, and I'm cutting off the Triumph.
Not being smart at the moment, from what I've seen with my eye, Dave, and as I said, I will be going with Sergino. Yeah.
Fair enough. I will just say, right, obviously I've got the exchange up on there. It's different for different people that are looking at it. Some people just see it as visual numbers and colours and stuff and won't really pay much attention. Something that would, for someone like me that would be looking at it, I would be interested in the fact that Storm Heart's got £300 on the lay side of it at 7-1, so 8.0 on there, and it's 7-1 generally with bookies anyway. I mean, it's 5-1 non-runner money back with William Hill. Not to read into too much to say that means that they really, really fancy whatever, but obviously someone's very keen at the price to suggest that they want to get some money on. Probably because of the fact they think it's like an obvious shortener or any of that sort of stuff. So there is always little bits of money that's sat behind, but the volumes and stuff that go in there, you would always like to think in your head you get a better price on the exchange, but often you will see bits of money that's stacked up behind because someone's got positions or whatever it is. When it comes to the backside of it, right? Say someone's backed this Stormheart at 25s and then Stormheart was 3 or 4 points bigger than the bookmakers. It may just be the case that someone's had too much on pre-race and just wants to get rid of it. So basically, when there's chunks sat behind the lay side of it, I would take that as a positive for those type of things, especially if you're thinking about shorteners and stuff as well. So we've mentioned a few horses in there. As much as I do love Burdett Road, and yes, I think he's going to be impressive on the trials day, I don't think he's going to come up against much. I think his price will be in and around 7-2-ish, 3-1 on the day. I can't see how he's going to be much shorter. I do think someone like a Storm Heart, given the route that's probably going to happen, a Dublin Racing Festival, a shit home in February, probably will halve in price by the time that this gets to March. Purpose of doing the video now, right? We want to do a timestamp of this is what we think in January. When it gets to March, we'll have a different opinion, but is what it is. Anyway, we'll move on. We're going to move on to the Albert Bartlett, which is the greatest race of the Cheltenham Festival.